Hello everybody and welcome to the first lesson, Module 1, for learning Hakka language. In Mandarin, Hakka is called 客家话, 客家话. And in Hakka it's called Hakka, Hakka. Okay, in this first lesson I'd like to introduce you to the Hakka language. The Hakka language is spoken, it's mostly centered around the city of Meixian or Meizhou in China, and now it has two names, Meixian. In fact, I have a dictionary right here that I can show you and pull off my shelf. It's called Fangyan in Chinese, which is a topolect or a language spoken in a particular area of China. So Meixian, Fangyan 词典. This is a dictionary for the Meixian local variety of speech, which is classified as Hakka language. Okay, nearby, excuse me for a second. Nearby Meixian, just over the border, Meixian is located in Guangdong province, but just over the border to the north, if you head up to Jiangxi province, you can come to the city of Yudu. Yudu is a Hakka dialect spoken in Jiangxi province. So here's another dictionary for one of the Hakka languages. Not one of the Hakka. The Hakka is a language. It's just one of the dialects of Hakka. Okay, here's another book I have. This is called Jiangxi 客家方言概况. So this is a compendium of the Hakka dialects spoken in Jiangxi province. It goes over, has examples of vocabulary and things like that for each location. So in the year 2010, which is when I'm recording this video, I've been learning the Hakka language. It's not my first Chinese language to learn, but I've been finding that after learning the language, and I look through a lot of these other materials that I have, here's something from Meixian, here's something for learning Hakka, here's something for Taoyuan, Hakka in Taiwan. What I'm finding is that the Hakka language is what I think is probably mutually intelligible throughout most of the areas. Now, I don't know about Jiangxi and those the more far-flung dialects of Hakka. There's another Hakka dialect thing. And then Hakka is also spoken in Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, Indonesia. There's a lot of places where people speak Hakka overseas as well. So here's some more linguistic articles, linguistic books published on the Hakka language. So there's a lot of material published on Hakka, but there's really no materials for learning Hakka. All of these are linguistic accounts, and I can't really learn the Hakka language just by reading these books, saying, oh, these words are pronounced in such a way in this location. What I really need is a course where I'll actually get the training to learn a language, how to speak it, and I need one form of speech that will be pretty much universally known. And that's hard to do. I mean, you could learn the Meixian way of speaking, but that way of speaking may or may not be understood everywhere. The thing is that throughout my course of study, I found that what I'm doing is I'm focusing on the Hakka spoken in Taiwan. Now, which kind of Hakka is spoken in Taiwan? It's like 5 different kinds in Taiwan. So there's one called 四县, and 四县 means 4 counties, which is 4 counties which is situated right around Meixian in mainland China, in Guangdong province, in the north part of Guangdong province. So 4 counties Hakka that I'm learning for Taiwan, which is what I'm going to teach you in this video series, is very, very similar to this Meixian. There's some vocabulary differences though. There's some tone differences. But all in all, I think the two are pretty much mutually intelligible. There's also a Haifeng Hakka spoken along the coast of Guangdong, and in Taiwan it's become Hailu. Hailu is also a very common Hakka form in Taiwan, which is called Hoilu. Hoilu. Okay, so I'm going to be teaching you 四县 Hakka of Taiwan. Where is this spoken? It's spoken in Hsinchu County and in Miaoli County, which are the 2 major Hakka speaking areas of Taiwan. If you go to these 2 counties, almost everybody in that area is a Hakka person. So Miaoli is more of a countryside area. Hsinchu is a very beautiful area. I've traveled there a lot. Hsinchu is known for its science park. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get started. I think that the pronunciation system of Hakka is pretty easy when you compare it to Taiwanese, and shouldn't give you too much trouble if you already know Mandarin. In English, we don't have very many words that start with an ng sound. But if you use the ng at the end of the word, like working ends with an ng, and then you add a preposition after that, like working at or working on, and then you isolate that sound, the ng plus the on or the at, you get ngon, ngat. I'm working on, ngon. I'm working at. Okay, so there's a word in Hakka which is very similar to English, which is the word for I. Okay, I am. In Hakka is ngai. Okay, it's just the word I with a ng at the beginning of it. So that's your first word you're going to learn. Ngai, ngai. And ngai, ngai, ngai is a very low tone. Okay, the word for you is quite different. It's It's just a nasal sound. It's an n. Okay, Okay, so that might be a little bit hard to hear and understand, especially when we link it with other words. But you have to give it its own syllable. Okay, so the first sentence we're going to learn is, who are you? Now, when we say this in English, we scramble up the words a little bit. We put the interrogative at the beginning of the sentence, so it becomes, who are you, instead of you are who. The original structure of the sentence really should be you are who, but we move it to the beginning, who are you. So when we're speaking other languages, a lot of languages don't have that movement. Okay, so keep it in its original form. You are who. So in Hakka, we're going to say Nhei mangin, Nhei mangin, Nhei mangin. Hey is to be. Okay, you are. Is, am, are. They all mean be. Okay, so Nhei mangin. We don't need to change is, am, are in the Chinese languages. Okay, so Nhei mangin, Nhei mangin. I'm Liu Wencong. Liu Wencong is a person's name. His last name is Liu, and in Hakka we're going to pronounce that as, let's see what's the tone here, Liu, Liu, okay? And then we're going to say Wencong, Wencong, Ngai He, Liu Wencong, Ngai He, Liu Wencong. I'm Hu Meiling, which is a girl's name. Ngai He. Now the word for who changes to an F sound. We're going to say fu, fu. And then Mei Ling, me. Okay, so mi ling, mi ling. Fu mi ling. Ngai He, fu mi ling. Okay, what's your surname? In Chinese, we're going to say ni xing什么. Okay, in Hakka we can say xiang ma. Xiang ma, xiang ma. My surname is Wang. Ngai xiang Wang, ngai xiang Wang. So the W in Mandarin needs to change to a V sound. In Hakka, to a V. Ngai xiang Wang. My surname is Hu. Ngai xiang Fu, ngai xiang Fu. Who is he or she? Okay, he and she is the same word in Hakka. Gi, and that's gi. So take the he of English and change that H to a G. He, gi. He, gi. She, gi. Okay, that's pretty easy. Gi he mangin. Gi he mangin. He's Mr. Ma. Okay, we're going to say Ma and then Mr. Ma Xian Sheng. And then in Hakka, we're going to say Ma Xing Sang. Ma Xing Sang. Gi he Ma Xing Sang. Ma Xing Sang. She's Mrs. Ma, or Ma's wife. Gi he Ma Bu Nyong. Gi he Ma Bu Nyong. Gi he Ma Bu Nyong. She's Miss Hu. In Mandarin we say Hu Xiao Jie. In Hakka we're going to say Xiao Ji, Xiao Ji. Okay, so Gi he Fu Xiao Ji. Gi he Fu Xiao Ji. Okay, there's a lot of words in Hakka that have this eo sound, so you have to get used to that kind of a pronunciation. Gi he fu xiao ji. Mr. Wang, who is he? So you're calling out to this Mr. Wang. Hey, Mr. Wang, who's that guy? You're going to say Wang Xing Sang. Gi he mangin. Wang Xing Sang. Gi he mangin. He's Ma Ming Hui. Okay, so Ma Minghui is his full name. So Minghui in Hakka is going to be pronounced Mingfi, Mingfi. Yi hei Ma Mingfi, Yi hei Ma Mingfi. Sir, who is he? Xin Zhang, Yi hei Manging, Yi hei Manging. She's Mrs. Ma Minghui, or the wife of Ma Minghui. Yi hei Ma Mingfi, Ma Mingfi bunyo, Ma Mingfi bunyo. Yi hei Ma Mingfi bunyo. Okay, so those sentences, we just finished all the sentences for lesson 1. Go back to the beginning and watch and practice those sentences again. A lot of the pronunciations are going to feel new and strange to you at first, but you can go back and practice those. Now I'm going to go on to the conversation. Conversation, are going to repeat the sentences we just learned, but put them in an order of a, question and answer format. So the first one is, who are you? He manging. He manging. Now I'm going to say every sentence twice. So you repeat on the second time, okay? I'm Liu Wencong. So Liu Wencong is the Mandarin name. In Hakka we're going to say Liu Wencong. So say, Ngai he Liu Wencong. Ngai he Liu Wencong. Who are you? He manging. He manging. I'm Hu Meiling. Ngai he Fu Miling. Ngai he Fu Miling. What's your surname? Xiang Ma. Xiang Ma. Okay, so the first time I said it, my tone was too low. Xiang Ma. Xiang Ma. My surname's Wang. Ngai Xiang Vong. Ngai Xiang Vong. What's your surname? Xiang Ma. Xiang Ma. My surname is Hu. Ngai Xiang Fu. Ngai Xiang Fu. Who is he or she? Yi hei Manging. Yi hei Manging. He's Mr. Ma. Yi hei Ma Xin Sang. Yi hei Ma Xin Sang. Who is he or she? Yi hei Manging. Yi hei Manging. She's Mrs. Ma, or Ma's wife. Yi hei Ma bunyo. Yi hei Ma bunyo. Who is he or she? Yi hei Manging. Yi hei Manging. She's Miss Hu, as in Miss, as in 小姐. Okay, Yi hei Fu Xiao Ji. Yi hei Fu Xiao Ji. Mr. Wang, who is he? Wang Xinzang. Yi hei Manging. Yi hei Manging. He's Ma Minghui. Yi hei Ma Mingfi. Yi hei Ma Mingfi. Sir, who is she? Xinzang. Yi hei Manging. Xinzang. Yi hei Manging. She's Mrs. Ma Minghui. Yi hei Ma Mingfi bunyo. Yi hei Ma Mingfi bunyo. Okay, that's the end of the first lesson. I just want to tell you guys that the Hakka language does have some sounds mixing together when two words come together. So you'll notice that when I said ma and nin, it becomes manging, manging. Those two, the ending and the beginning of that word will kind of coalesce and fuse together. Very similar to how European languages, when you put a lot of roots together, they kind of fuse together. So I'll be teaching you how those sounds blend together in future lessons, okay? But as far as tones, the tones don't change all that much. They do change in some cases, but not all that much. Nothing much that we need to pay any attention on at this time. That's the end of lesson 1, and we'll build on that in lesson 2. Thanks for watching.